Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Morgan, the Ryker chick, and today we are going to be talking all about vinyl wrap for your Ryker. So if you want to know how I got my Ryker to go from looking like this to this, just keep on watching. Okay, you guys, so real talk, this is a project that I have wanted to do pretty much since I got my Ryker. I have researched doing vinyl wrap on my Can-Am Ryker, pretty much since the first week I got it. That's one of the things that always appealed to me, is how you can so easily customize your Can-Am Ryker to your specific taste. Now, of course, there's plenty of options for this. Can-Am makes a ton of different panels that you can customize and switch out, and they're offering more and more. It seems like, you know, every few months they'll come out with new designs, new colors. But also other options would be to paint, get your parts of the Ryker dipped. But a very popular option is to use vinyl wrap. So vinyl wrap looks like this. It comes in a roll. There's also some companies that make pre-cut pieces, and you have so many different options. I personally went back and forth about which option was right for me. I was drawn to the idea of vinyl because it's very easy to remove. If in a year or so I get tired of this particular color or pattern, it's very easy to remove and do something fresh. It's less of a commitment than painting or anything like that. So that was my personal choice. Now the next thing to consider was, do I try this myself or do I take it to a professional? So you can certainly, there's plenty of places around where people have gotten their bikes professionally wrapped. They do a fantastic job. It's certainly going to cost a lot of money to do it that way. So I was drawn to the idea of trying it myself. I figured I can get the vinyl that I want off Amazon. You can get different samples. I looked through a couple different samples to see what I liked best. And I was really drawn to the idea of this color shifting carbon fiber pattern for my Ryker. I was drawn to this even over some companies that make the pre-cut pieces that just go right on the existing parts, because I wanted to wrap other pieces of my Ryker, specifically my luggage. I want to wrap some pieces on that. So of course those are not going to be pre-made by anywhere, you know, custom. So I needed to just go with a roll of this and just give it a shot. Again, if I mess up on this, it's easy to remove. So in complete transparency, when I initially started filming this video, I was going to take you through the process of follow along with me as I wrap my bike. You know, first time vinyl wrap project, come along, see what goes on. But I figure what's going to be more valuable to you as the viewer would be for me to share some of the tips and tricks that I have discovered along the way, rather than just watching several minutes of edited down footage of me struggling through wrapping the bike. Because it is. Like I said, I'm new to this. I've never done this before. My only experience with working with any kind of vinyl would be from like a crafting standpoint. Vinyl, like heat transfer vinyl, or like making vinyl like stickers. I have like a silhouette machine that does that. So that's really my only experience working with vinyl. I've never done this before. To date, I have done 2 of the panels on the trunk on my bike, and I've done 1 panel over here. So I feel like from a newbie standpoint, I can at least share with you some of the tips and tricks that I have found helpful for me in embarking on this DIY vinyl wrap journey. So that's what I'm going to share with you. So come along with me and I'll share. Okay, so tip number 1 is going to be making sure that you have the right tools to get the job done. So here is a list of what you're going to need for your project. Okay, so for your DIY vinyl wrap project, you are going to need your vinyl wrap, a squeegee, something to cut your vinyl with, either scissors or this little Blade Runner thing, a retractable knife, some isopropyl alcohol, preferably in a spray bottle, and some sort of microfiber towel or paper towel or something to really clean off the piece that you're wrapping. You're also going to need some sort of heat gun to help apply the vinyl. I have seen people do this with hair dryers, or like there's crafting heat guns, but this one really has the ability to control the temperature setting on the heat gun. Tip number 2 is get more vinyl than you think you're going to need, because you will need more. I wasted a good 6 or 7 feet of a 10-foot roll of this vinyl just with trial and error and having to scrap the piece and start all over again. So you're going to need more. I got this on Amazon. I'll have this all linked down below. This came in a 10-foot roll. I was like, that's all I'm gonna need for this bike. And then I wasted 6 or 7 feet of it. And then I had to wait another couple days to get another roll of this in. So this is not that expensive. This roll was $15. Just get 2 rolls to begin with, or more. Whatever you think you're gonna need, get more. Better to have extra and not need it than need it and not have it. So tip number 3 is all about preparation of the part that you're going to be wrapping. This is where your isopropyl alcohol and your wipe comes into play. You are laying down an adhesive piece of vinyl on top of this, so you wanna make sure any imperfections, any maybe bug splatter, any oils or anything that would cause the vinyl not to adhere as best it can, all that needs to be cleaned off. So just make sure you take the time to properly do that. That's why it's recommended to have the alcohol in a little spray bottle. All I had was this little tiny one, but that's fine. But you just want to make sure it's cleaned off properly. Also, make sure your hands are clean as well, because same thing goes if you have, any oils or any lotion or anything on your hands that would make it so that it's not going to adhere properly. So you just want to make sure that is taken care of. Tip number 4 is about where you're wrapping your bike. Remember when I said earlier that I wasted like 6 or 7 feet of vinyl? That is because I took this panel off, took it inside into the air conditioning, and decided to wrap it there. That was a big mistake, especially these, and especially any really pliable like plastic pieces. These panels move and bend. That is where we wasted so much vinyl, because we were wrapping it, you're kind of wrestling with it. Whatever you get wrapped, it starts to bow out a little bit. So we had all kinds of creases and bubbles and all kinds of stuff in it. So we said, okay, let's change game plans, wrap it when it's still on the bike. That made all the difference. So whatever you can wrap on a very steady surface, that's one thing. Now, if you're taking off a piece that's flat and is not going to give as much, that's another thing. You could certainly do that inside, like at a counter height table or something. But I really did find for these panels, because they're already challenging enough. These particular panels have so many curves and everything to them. They're already a very challenging piece to wrap. It's just so much easier to do it when it's still attached to the bike. Tip number 5 is don't be afraid of using heat. So this heat gun is really helpful for laying down your wrap and helping to get out any imperfections, any wrinkles, help to make the vinyl a little bit more pliable and stretch a little bit. Let me show you. Okay, so let's say you have your piece of vinyl, you've prepped your surface, you go to lay it down. You got your squeegee. I'm gonna try to purposely make like a little crease or something. Yeah, okay. So let's say you do that number. Yeah, we've got some creases in here, obviously. That is not correct application, I'm just showing you. So you can peel this up. Now that fixed most of it, but let's say it's really wrinkled. Let's say it's like really got some problems going on, okay? Vinyl has memory in it, so the heat helps it sort of retain its previous shape. So you turn your heat on. Let's see if I can get that to show. And it kind of goes back to its previous shape. And it helps make it a little bit more pliable. So then you can really get a nice smooth application. There you go. Don't be afraid of heat. Tip number 6 would be to ask a friend to help you. Get a second set of hands in here. This is not an easy task. It's very easy to get frustrated. So it's easier if you can get a second set of hands to help hold the vinyl, because if you're covering a large piece, if you can get somebody to like hold the corners up so it's not folding in on itself, or be the person that's holding the heat gun to help blast it with a little bit of heat when need be, it really does make the process go a little bit easier. Can you do it by yourself? Absolutely. Is it easier with a friend? Yes. So ask a friend, buy them a beer later, and get to wrapping. Okay, so we have both of the front panels wrapped as well as some pieces on the front hood. I do have a couple other pieces that I still want to do as far as my saddlebags, but I am very happy with how this turned out. So this leads me to my last 2 tips for doing DIY vinyl wrap on your Can-Am Ryker. So number 7 would be have patience. This can be a very time-consuming process. It can be a very frustrating process. And I think it's important to keep in mind that, especially on difficult pieces like these front panels, there is going to be a period of time that it's going to look ugly. It is going to look like it's not salvageable, but you just have to have patience with it, hit it with heat, don't overstretch it, and just try to keep working with it. If you get frustrated with it, walk away. If you feel like the vinyl is too wrinkled, too unsalvageable, or if you tear it or poke a hole in it, tear it up and start new, start fresh. Remember to always prep the area that you're working with. If you've been touching it a lot and have fingerprints and stuff all over it, wipe it down again with the alcohol and start again. You can always try it again. And my last and final tip number 8, is to always keep in mind that when you're doing this yourself, especially when you're doing it for the first time, this is not going to be perfect. And if you look up close at my wrap job, especially on these front panels, it's not perfect. There's little air bubbles here and there, there's little wrinkles here and there, and that's okay. This was an experience for me to be able to do this wrap, to be able to take pride in doing it myself, and I am really happy with the outcome. Now, if anybody is up here so close that they're pointing out all the little imperfections in your wrap, they're not your friend, and tell them to get away from your bike. You did this, and this is something that you can be proud of. And the trade-off of doing it yourself is the money savings that you're going to get from doing it yourself. All in all, I have about $30 in wrap invested into this. The kit was about $10 on Amazon. If you don't want to invest in a heat gun, you can always use a hair dryer, but the heat gun is really helpful, and I do suggest that you definitely have some way to be able to heat it, because I don't think we could have done this without the heat. Anyway, here is a final look at all of my vinyl wrap that I've done on the bike. I'm gonna take it outside, give you a good look at all the pieces. That is it for today's video. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments below. Have you guys wrapped your Rykers? Are you looking into it? Let me know down below. Let me know what colors, and if you have a certain theme that you're going for, let me know. Please give this video a thumbs up, and I would love if you would subscribe to this channel. Keep coming back for future content, Ryker modifications, moto vlogs. We've got a lot of fun adventures coming up. I would love if you would stick around, hang out with me. As always, anything that I have used here in this video will be linked in the description box below, along with anything that I've mentioned in other videos. Any of my modifications, my gear, my camera gear, anything like that, all is linked in the description box below for your convenience. And until next time, ride safe, be kind, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.